time now for the weekly sports panel. I'm joined here, as always, with Evan Kenny. Evan, great to be here with you in person.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jace, as always.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here in person. Love it. And we're talking hockey today, but a lot of people are probably thinking, you know, hockey this time of year, we're talking about the playoffs. No, we're not talking about the playoffs today. We're talking about the 2022 World Hockey Championship. So they're going to be taking place in Finland. So you're a big hockey fan, so obviously you know a lot about this tournament. Someone like me, not so much. Can you kind of take us through what this tournament is? Yeah,
Jace, this is really an annual international tournament set up by the IIHF. Really, you know, this tournament, like we're talking about, it takes place during May. So the majority of these players on the majority of these teams are from different European leagues, or a handful are from NHL teams who didn't make the playoffs. Now, Canada does sit tied for first all-time in gold medals with 27. They actually got their 27th last year, and they could be taking first place all-time in medals as they're tied with the USSR/Russia, who will not participate in the tournament this season. So, you know, good shot for Canada this year, and, you know, it's always a real good showing coming from our country.
All right, so let's go through Canada's roster a little bit. Who are you most excited to see play?
Yeah, Jace, there's a number of players. I mean, like I said, you know, a lot of these guys, specifically on Canada, a lot of these guys are NHL pros. There's actually just 2 players on the roster who didn't spend time in the NHL. One of them being Matt Tompkins, who actually was one of the goaltenders for the Canadian Olympic team as well. So definitely not a lack of talent when you look at this Canadian roster. But for me, there's 2 guys that stand out, and both of them very, very skilled players. Matt Barzal being one of them. The last time that he played in the World Championships, he had 7 points in 10 games, and that was following his rookie season in the NHL. Now, obviously, he's got a number of more years under his belt at this point, and so, you know, looking at it from that perspective, he should mature and should be ready to play at this tournament. But then also, he's such an elite skater. Now going to play on international ice, I think Matt Barzal is a guy who can really take over, specifically offensively, Jace. Another guy who I think will perform very well is the other player who was on the Canadian men's Olympic hockey team, that being Kent Johnson. Now, he played 9 NHL games this season after finishing his season with the University of Michigan. He had 3 points in 9 games, so maybe not the absolute most points for a rookie coming in, but get this, Chase, playing against men at the Olympics, he had 5 points in 5 games. He's got elite hands and an elite IQ. So once again, on that bigger ice, I'm excited to see what he can do.
Okay, so you mentioned there's no Russia playing in this tournament. We were talking a little bit earlier about all the teams that are playing, and looking at Canada's schedule, it doesn't seem like it's the toughest, but who do you think the toughest opponent for Canada is going to be?
Yeah, you know, just looking through their schedule, Jace, they start things off playing Germany this upcoming Friday, then Italy, then Slovakia, followed by Kazakhstan, Switzerland, Denmark, and then they will wrap up the tournament against France, Jace. So, you know, taking a look at those teams, I think the Swiss will give the Canadians the most difficult time. Couple different factors here. The Swiss have the most NHL players for the division that Canada is in outside of Canada. So that is obviously a huge factor, getting the best players from the best league.
Makes sense.
One of them being Timo Meier, who scored at almost a point per game in the NHL this season. 35 goals in the NHL as well. So I think he'll be, you know, a big contributor and possibly one of the top players from any country at this tournament. And then, Jason, another team that I'm excited to see, I don't know necessarily how competitive they'll be, but I think they'll be exciting, is Germany. They got a couple of real young guys, Tim Stützle, who plays for the Ottawa Senators, and Moritz Seider, who, in my opinion, will be the NHL Rookie of the Year. Both playing for Germany at this tournament, so that'll be an exciting one for sure.
Well, there's definitely no shortage of hockey to watch if you're a hockey fan in this country, like I know most people are. There's a lot going on, so thanks again for taking some time to talk with us, Evan, and the tournament kicks off this Friday.